Hi. Wait just 1 second. Hello there. Welcome to the second edition of a series that I'm calling Crochet Coffee Chats. Slightly different to my video essays slash cultural commentary videos. These are very much off the cuff, raw, just like my thoughts. I have notes, but like this is very much opinion-based, casual chat. So, while I yap, I'm going to crochet. And today's topic is the US election. And specifically my thoughts on everything that's happened in the past few days as an American who's been living abroad in both France and the UK since 2019. So it's been a while. And safe to say I have quite a few thoughts about the US election. Let's just get into it. If you don't care, totally skip this. My little crochet update is that I'm using the yarn bowl my friend who is a potter made for me. Thank you, girl, if you're watching this. I'm finishing the remaining strap that I have left to do for this filet crochet top that I made. Wait, there we go. And there's a new project I want to start, but I figure I would need a focus to start, so I'd rather just like keep working on this, even though I'm not gonna wear this until next summer. So that's what I'm working on today while I talk about this amazing topic that I can't get enough of. Also, I'm using a hair clip, a barrette, as my pin marker for some reason. Pin marker, stitch marker. But I want to give a disclaimer that my channel will always be a safe space for anyone who is marginalized, queer people, people of color. If you're not here for that, which I assume that most people who find my content are pretty decent people, pretty wholesome people. I just want to say that so you know where I stand on those issues, if it wasn't already clear, which I feel like it probably is quite clear to you. So to give a little bit of background, I am from the US. I am from Chicago suburbs specifically, and I've lived in Paris and London, and obviously Chicago. Also, I'm curious if you're from the United States, which state are you from? So, as a woman of color from around Chicago with both a bachelor's and a master's degree, it probably does not at all come as a surprise that I voted for Kamala Harris. She was not the perfect candidate. I don't think any politician will ever be the perfect candidate, but between her and Trump, to me, that was a very, very obvious choice. Not only is she more qualified, having had worked in all three branches of government, but she hasn't made the same comments that Donald Trump has made about women, about immigrants, all of that. And her being in office would mean that abortion and general reproductive rights wouldn't be as endangered as they will be under Trump's second presidency. Isn't it crazy that we're saying that now? I mean, it's not that crazy, but the fact that a convicted felon is going to hold the most, or one of the most powerful positions in the world for a second time. He wasn't a convicted felon the first time, but he'll be president for a second time. It's something else. It truly is. Sorry, I had to move the camera a bit. And what I want to talk about is the fact that I think so many of us who believe in protecting other people's rights and believe in fighting for and supporting people who don't look like us or who don't live the same lifestyles as us, we find it really difficult to comprehend that someone could vote for a man, a convicted felon, who is openly misogynistic, racist, homophobic, etc. Like, we can't comprehend that. But I think we should probably start comprehending that and getting that into our brains if we want things to change. Because should it be that way? No, but is that the way things are? And Americans have now proven that to each other twice. And this time what makes things a bit more difficult and harder to digest is the fact that he won both the popular vote and the electoral vote. You can't say this is third-party voters, this is people who abstained from voting, this is the fault of the Electoral College. You know, there are issues with the Electoral College, but that's not what this video is about. The fact of the matter is that he won the popular vote this time around, and I think that really forces us to face the fact that what the Democrats were trying to do didn't work. Or at least didn't work for the people who needed to switch their vote in order for Donald Trump to not become president again. And I'm doing this video a bit after the election. Today is Friday and I'm going to post this on Sunday. And it's given me time to reflect on things because I think it's completely valid to need some time to mourn this. I think a lot of people really did believe that Kamala Harris was going to win. I had moments where I really thought that there was no way she wouldn't win. And it's really difficult knowing that anyone, and especially anyone you know or respect or used to respect, could vote for someone who is openly all of those things is truly really heartbreaking. And I do think it's completely valid for people to need time to digest that and to like sit with it and to go through the stages of like grief, basically. I'm struggling a little bit to talk about this because I remember being in high school when Trump won the first time. I couldn't vote at the time, I wasn't old enough. It was very clear that he was going to win. I just did not believe that the rest of the US was ready for a woman president. So many Democrats wanted Bernie Sanders at that time, and she wasn't really what a lot of people wanted. Anyways, I do remember the heartbreak though, of feeling like, wow, this person has said horrible things on television that we've all heard. And the fact that I could see that there were people around me who had voted for him was like really demoralizing to think, oh, you actually don't care about my livelihood. They don't take it seriously that this person has said the things that he said about women, about immigrants, about Black people, about Latinos, etc. Anyways, this video isn't about the 2016 election, but I want to talk about what I think the problem is, why this has happened again, and what I think are some solutions to it or approaches. I truly believe that education is the answer to all of this, but I don't think that it's the solution. And that might sound a bit confusing, but the bottom line is that if we believe that someone's voting a certain way because they're uneducated and because Donald Trump has literally said, I love uneducated people, I love Republicans, they're so easy to influence and to manipulate. Not in those exact words, but he said things to that effect. If we believe that that is the case, that they're uneducated and therefore easily manipulated, making fun of them or being extremely patronizing and condescending towards them is not going to solve anything, and it really hasn't. But also, we can't expect that Americans, specifically Americans in swing states who we need to vote Democrat in the next election, that they're going to change in the next 4 years and that they're going to become more educated and that they're going to have all of these different beliefs because they finally saw the light and we were able to convince them and change their minds with logic and debates. That's not going to happen. And they're going to vote based on what they see in their lives that's impacting them. So many of these Trump supporters are saying things like, I can't afford hamburgers anymore. I can't afford gas. I can't afford the taxes. I can't afford my bills. They don't feel listened to. Democrats really struggle to not intellectualize things, I think. And instead they try to teach them. Like, no, don't care about that. Care about the fact that Donald Trump is a misogynist. Care about the fact that we can't go back. You can't tell people what to care about if you want to win an election, especially in 100 days. You have to tell people what they want to hear. Obviously, I don't condone lying, but running a campaign on let's save democracy isn't going to resonate with the people who you need it to resonate with in order to win the Electoral College. And I'm not saying that this is right, that that should come before basic human rights, but unfortunately that's what that part of the electorate wants and prioritizes. What I'm saying is that, in my opinion, if the Democrats want to win in 2028, they need to change how they interact with specific voters. Villainizing them doesn't help, lecturing them certainly doesn't help, telling them what they should believe in doesn't help. People want to be sold a dream, and ideally they also want you to deliver on that dream. But we all know that so many politicians don't deliver on their promises. That's just, a known and kind of accepted fact, including Trump. Like, so many people didn't vote for him in 2020 because they weren't happy with how his first term went. But then we get like mass amnesia and people vote for him again. The bottom line, which I feel like everyone knows, including the professionals who run these campaigns, or people at the DNC who put forward candidates, they know that this is how elections work. If the economy is down and people are struggling, that current president is not going to be reelected. If the economy is going super well and people have a lot of money and they feel like they're living more comfortably, that president will get reelected. If that president has already reached their second term, historically, people are always disappointed with the second term. But let's say the economy is doing super well after that second term, they'll probably just vote for that party again, regardless of who the candidate is. Not all the time, and that's not how a lot of people vote, especially if you're someone who's... My light just died, sorry. I feel like the dream that Harris's campaign was selling was no more Trump, which, you know, granted she had a really short campaign because Biden was running initially. The dream they were selling wasn't, you'll have more money and life will be easier because we know you're struggling. It was, we're not going back to Trump, which is a dream that resonates with someone like me who's from a blue state, who lives abroad, who's educated. It's not something that's going to resonate with someone who votes based on the economy, which tend to be the people whose votes determine an election. Another thing I want to quickly touch on, which I think really harmed the Democratic Party in both 2016 and now even more so in 2024, is that they've moved further to the right. And I've seen some people since this most recent election in the past few days saying, oh, they lost because they moved too far to the left. To be fair, I feel like most people agree that they've been going too far to the right and trying, again, to tell people what they want instead of giving them what they want. I think the Democratic Party got the exact same proportion of Republican voters, or traditionally Republican voters, voting for them in 2020 as they did this year. So clearly the strategy is not working. Do I think the US electorate is ready to go completely to the left, that they will be comfortable with that, with even a candidate like Bernie Sanders? I mean, he's not going to run, but do I think they would be comfortable with that? No. But I don't think moving more and more to the right is an answer. It's just like not giving people any options that they want. And if I'm being completely frank with you, I think the 2028 candidate needs to be someone who is a huge personality, who is ideally attractive, and let's face it, most likely a man. If you think about it, the last time that we had an election where both candidates were unknown to the average American was in 2008 or 2012. And probably more 2008 because by 2012, everyone knew who Barack Obama was and a lot of people did like him, especially for his personality. And do I think personality makes a good president? No, but I think it makes a good candidate that people will vote for. After that, in 2016, we had Hillary Clinton, former First Lady, and Donald Trump, reality TV star and failed businessman. Since then, 2020, Donald Trump again versus former Vice President Joe Biden. And in 2024, reality star and failed businessman and failed president Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, current Vice President. And I think in one way, the Democratic Party is on the right track in giving candidate options that are known household names. Because otherwise, people don't care and they don't vote. Because so many people are uneducated and not interested in politics, which, you know, can you blame them? But on the other hand, people are tired of that and they're not inspired by the same names again and again and again, people who they feel disappointed by. So what's the answer? Presenting the people, presenting Democrats with a potential candidate who is either already a household name, like a celebrity, unfortunately, or someone who they're going to build up over the next 4 years so that everyone knows their name by the time the next election comes around. This could be Walz, this could be Harris, this could be, I don't know, George Clooney, this could be Jack Schlossberg. This could be so many people, but they need to start now. This person needs to be on Twitter, they need to be on Twitch, they need to be on Discord, they need to be on the Joe Rogan podcast, they need to be on Call Her Daddy, they need to be literally everywhere. They need to be loud, they need to be obnoxious, they need to be articulate, they can't seem too educated. This person needs to be molded to be the perfect candidate that can beat, I don't know, J.D. Vance in 2028. They need to take a leaf out of Donald Trump's book and tell people what they want to hear. How many times have liberals gone out and interviewed Trump supporters to, you know, be like, aha, got you. I just proved to you that Donald Trump is actually worse for you. And then they go and vote for him again. And when the Democrats are promising these dreams to the people who need to be convinced, they can still do this by promoting progressive values. They can address people's like real life tangible concerns like student loans, job security, energy bills, healthcare bills, make promises on those things that will actually impact their lives on a day-to-day basis. And I wish that the approach of let's just not elect a misogynistic, xenophobic felon into office could work. But the US has proven to us, yet again, that that's not the message that's going to resonate with them. If I could say one thing to make this a bit more uplifting, is that there's so much work to be done over the next 4 years in terms of how we talk to each other, that in a way that's a bit exciting. And hopefully there are enough people who take away the most useful lessons from this election so that we can protect democracy, but also connect with the people who have been manipulated into thinking that Trump is the answer to their problems. Well, that was a long ramble. I hope you enjoyed it. I didn't get a lot of crochet done because I was yapping. Anyways, I'm going to stop there because I could probably talk about this for a long time. This is obviously a very fresh event that's taken place. There are going to be many opportunities to discuss the things that we're concerned about over the next 4 years, and especially over the next few months. I'm just thinking about like the inauguration and stuff and how crazy all of that's going to be. But discuss below what you think. Register to vote. Talk to people who you disagree with. Don't give in to fear tactics. And don't blame each other. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the topic. As always, thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!